Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mokana Man at YouTube with another modelling video. Today we'll be doing a very quick 3D printing project that I had ready for Model Expo. It is the skull of Cubone, a Pokemon, a part of the original 150 odd that was a part of the game and anime base back in the 90s. This is something I've grown up with. The fascinating thing about this 3D model I came across on Thingaverse, I'll put the link down below in the description. It was hacked from the video game Pokemon X and Y for the handheld Nintendo console. The individual got the actual file, which was the shape, detail and whatnot, the shell, and he thickened it out and modified it to be printed in the solid object. The file itself was quite big. No way in hell it'd fit on my printer. It'd probably be big enough to fit on a small child's head or something, so I had to scale it down quite significantly, which might have lost a tiny bit of subtle detail, but I got it to a size that's similar to the other helmets that I printed off. Went via a very slow detailed print in PLA, very cheap PLA, on my Up Mini 3D printer. The print was probably approximately 1 hour. I also did the stand or helmet stand that I made a while ago and modified it slightly for the skull to fit on it. The first step was quite simple. I removed the rafter, the base, the stand and all the interior filling, which is kind of like scaffolding, to make this print possible. Because I might have not had it tuned or calibrated right and using really cheap nasty plastic, the print itself was absolutely rough as guts. So still experimenting dealing with 3D printed parts, I gave a couple of coats of very thick, very cheap lacquer automotive primer, which goes on a bit like a putty, and sanded it back. I find the automotive primer takes a very long time to fully cure, dry and harden, so I gave it 2 days and started sanding back to bare plastic. Because it's going to take an absolute long time due to how rough it was, I started with 80 grit sandpaper, which really scratched the hell out of it and left quite deep scratch marks, and gradually went down to 320 grit. Once it was quite smooth and to my liking, I covered it in Squadron white putty, allowed that 24 hours to dry, and sanded it back using 320 grit sandpaper wet, and then went a bit finer than that to buff it up. To get the little cracks around the nose and mouth, I dremeled those crack lines in with a very fine tip needle on a Dremel. Painting was a cinch and was done very, very quickly. I first airbrushed Mr. Surfacer 500, very thick primer, to get any fine details, scratches, imperfections in order, followed by pre-shading it with Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. Post-shading was done with a very, very light grey. Due to how the painting and shading went, the cracks underneath the eyes and around the nose didn't even need any sort of wash. The whole skull was given a few coats of acrylic clear matte by Tamir, and she was done. The base itself, or the little helmet stand, got the same treatment as the overall helmet. That was all covered in primer, sanded back, painted brown in multiple shades with shadowing, looking at where the shadows will catch if the overall, I was very impressed how the automotive primer applied very thickly onto the surface of the model and sanded back from a much higher grit than you normally use for modelling to something lower, and re-putting it. So we're going for a 2 process cleanup. Was very efficient and left a far nicer and smoother finish than I got with the all in all, this was a very fun project, and I'll keep my eye on Thingaverse for anything else that seems to be interesting, fun, unusual, something that I would like to have that doesn't really exist in the scale modeling world. I encourage everyone else to do the same. See something you like, go through a 3D printing service and have something that's unique yourself. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for more scale modeling and 3D printing hand in hand, I suppose. Catch you guys later.